you all know what time it is?
Party time!
Podcast time!
Podcast time.
Yeah!
Welcome everyone into this very Valentine's Day episode. Platinum cannot join us today. She no longer loves any of you, or she has a wedding. It's 50-50.
She was just trying to avoid me.
I really don't remember which. It's probably one of those two. But I'm your host this week, Grey Wolves Gaming. Welcome on in, and this is our lovely cast today.
Heck yeah!
Hello.
Hey everybody!
Hello.
So our co-host this week,
That's me, I guess. Hi, I'm LilyiPie. How's it going?
Hi everyone. I'm Toddy-san 13.
Hey everybody, I'm Agreadda.
boom, there we go. Welcome in everyone. All right.
Thank you.
So the first order of business, everyone here is either freshly engaged or married. How was Valentine's Day? Anyone do anything special?
No.
Well, Lily and I, we did the dinner. The dinner was awesome.
Yeah, we had a special Valentine's Day dinner.
Well, what
Don't
dinner?
short
Not
our
everyone
dinner.
knows. Tell us.
So
What was for dinner?
We went to a local brewery. So a brewery we have nearby, and then we also have like a vegan bakery nearby. And they paired up to do a like beer dinner, vegan dinner, and it was crazy awesome because we head downtown to go to that brewery a lot anyways, and the food was completely awesome. It was like a 5-course meal or something like that.
It was really good.
It was so good.
What'd you guys
Yeah,
get?
it was a... Oh, what was there? There was like scallops, some soups. It was like a tomato and... what was it? A roasted red pepper soup.
Yeah, there was like a Wellington,
Okay.
which was super delicious.
Yeah, beef Wellington type thing. And then you could pair it with kombucha or beer for each of the courses.
Yeah,
Which was very weird and different, but it turned out really good.
yeah, it was great.
Nice.
Tasty.
So wait, what's kombucha? I feel like I should know that.
It's fermented tea, which sounds really gross, but it's like an acquired taste. Some people really like it, and some people absolutely don't want anything to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to like try a few different flavors because they have the tea, and then you can get like blueberry kombucha or ginger lemon kombucha or a bunch of different things. So
Okay.
I'd say if you want to try it, try a few different kinds and like actually drink them because it takes a little while to get used to
Okay.
because it's a very sharp taste, which is different from most drinks.
I'll say I'm probably a bad person for this because I don't drink tea and I don't drink alcohol. But
Well, it's not alcoholic. It's
Okay.
not alcoholic. It's a different kind of yeast.
okay, different kind of fermentation.
Yeah.
There's like a
Yeah.
tree somewhere in Africa that like gets heavily fermented like every year, and then a bunch of monkeys eat it and get drunk. So it's just a tree full of like drunk monkeys.
I
That
want
sounds
I want
great.
that. I want to test that out. That sounds awesome.
So
What is a drunk monkey like? Do they just act even more crazy than normal? Jump around on the trees and
I'm
stuff?
pretty sure a lot of them aren't really that agilely on the trees anymore. I think they kind of like fall off or like sway on the branches.
Oh, that's great.
So
It's like a drunk human trying to climb a tree.
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
bit
Except
hairier,
they're
depending on the
really
human.
confident about it, jumping from branch to branch.
I feel like I need to look this up.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember. It was. I saw it on like Animal Planet or some nature documentary. So I could be wrong on it being Africa, but I'm pretty sure if you look up monkeys fermenting tree, you'll probably find it.
Yeah.
All right, Toddy, what about you? What'd you do for Valentine's Day?
Not much. I got my wife a edible arrangement, which she really enjoyed.
Ooh.
Very nice.
And then she went to her parents' house for dinner, and I went to my bowling league.
Oh yeah, bowling league. That's
Very romantic.
commitment. That's commitment.
That's a
Well, I
long-term,
missed-
that's a long-term marriage right there. Here's your car. Here's your thing. All right, have a good night. You both.
See ya.
Well, I had missed the week before because we went on vacation. We went to Vermont, And then I was gonna miss next week too, so I had to make sure I got one of those weeks, and I couldn't miss like 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I picked
Okay.
Valentine's Day.
Were there a lot of people at the bowling league on Valentine's Day?
Yes, but there was also a lot of people missing too.
Gotcha. I was about to say, is there a
I
lot
don't know.
of...
I don't know if that had to do with Valentine's Day, but I noticed there was a lot of guys that were missing.
Is it a predominantly male league? Like, do you guys? Is there a lot of women? Is
Oh
there a
yeah,
lot of,
there's like 2 or 3
couples?
women maybe.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Right. You know, my wife and I, we just exchanged cards. Like we're like, we don't have money, no presents, just get each other cards. But I got her a card that. So when we first, like, we met on OkCupid like 5 years ago. So for a while we
wow.
had just messaged without actually meeting. You know, of
Yeah.
course it's OkCupid, so we're being very flirty and stuff like that. And I was reading, I want to say, a Brandon Sanderson book. I think Way of Kings. It's a really large book, but I was getting really close to that end. And there's the point when you get to the end of like a really good book that you're both excited and really sad. So I was mentioning that. I was like, I'm getting close to the end. I'm really excited to see how everything's going to happen, but I'm really sad because I don't want the book to end. And she's a big reader, and she was just like, you can't say things like that. It's too sexy. So I went too far in the other direction. My response was then me liking them books with them big words. Like, so that was my follow-up text. And she's like, too far in the other direction. So I got her a Valentine's Day.
Balance.
So I got her a Valentine's Day card that was basically like a caveman, like, me not good with words, me try best. Then you open it up and it's always like tablets hanging down. It's like, you smell good, you soft, you pretty. It was just like all of it.
That's perfect.
So I was very proud of the
great.
card. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we did though.
I didn't know y'all met online.
Yep.
You said
I
on
didn't
OkCupid?
either.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we met
That
okay,
is
5 years ago. So I messaged her first, and if anyone has ever done OkCupid or any dating site, a lot of them will have a section of like, you should message me if why you should message me, and like things like that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
she had like a bullet point like 1, 2, 3, and like she gave a bunch of reasons on why you should message her. So I gave her bulleted response to each one of those lines. I was like, item 1, and I addressed it. Item 2, and I addressed it. So it apparently was enough to get me noticed. So I got a response, and then here we are. So,
Complete
Yes, it
book
worked out.
report. That's what did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them was like, she's like, I'm kind of a nerd, so you can help me get out of my nerd shell. And I was like, listen, I cannot help you get out of your nerd shell, but I can help you embrace it. Like
We can make it a cozier space together.
Yeah.
There you go.
So.
There you
That's
go.
adorable.
Yeah, so that is how we met, and that is how we came to be. All right, so now that we're on it, how did other people meet? We got you two on the team. We'll start with Lily and Agri. How did you?
Well, we worked together.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a group of a few friends, coworkers that we would always hang out with. There was 4 of us, me and Agri, and then 2 other friends. And they started dating. And then we were like, all right, well, I guess when they're off, we'll just hang out together and do our own thing. And then that kind of developed a little further. And that's what happened.
I mean, I think that's like, I think if you look at that, it's a little bit natural just because, like, as they paired up, if we stay in that group and we don't, like, disband, it's natural that Lily and I would start spending more time together.
So we were
And
forced
obviously, yeah,
into
we were completely against our will, but now we're just too committed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
We've
no
been keeping
there's
up the charade for too long. Might as well just go with it.
Oh, how romantic of a start. Well, we're already hanging out. We might as well.
Shotgun dating.
Yep.
All right, Toddy. How did you and the missus meet?
One of my friends knew her, but then I went to a concert, and her brother was in a band, and he just happened to be playing that night.
Okay.
And we bumped into each other. And then it turns out my cousin actually knew her, too, from school.
Okay.
So we just started talking and started hanging out, and now here we are, married, almost 7 years now with 2 kids.
Very nice. Now, how old were you guys when you guys met?
Wow.
7 years.
I was 18 and she was 17.
Okay.
Wow, that's a young relationship to actually have work out. That's awesome.
Very nice.
Usually, like, relationships when you're that young just like don't stick. I mean, if you're like playing the percentages on that, so that's super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do a lot of growing after 18.
Yeah, I had an ex one time who was like 5 years younger than me, and she was going to school at the time in college for like not like, to be a PA, but she'd taken classes on like mental health and stuff like that. And she had to write a
Okay.
paper about how the human mind doesn't fully develop until you're like 25. That's really when you cement who you are. That's when your brain is pretty much fully developed. That's when you get going. And
Okay, I'm good.
yeah, we've gotten in like play. Like I never really get in fights with people. We got in like a play argument one time. I was just like, yeah, well, you're not even a true adult yet, so it doesn't matter. I was very proud of that argument. She was significantly less proud of my argument.
I bet so.
So, yeah, fun times. But, all right. Moving on.
So after that,
That was a good one.
So, all right. So, the big topic of the week. Anyone guess what it is? What do you guys
no
think?
idea.
I guess Nintendo Direct.
Nintendo Direct, correct. Everyone's
Yay.
talking about it. All the
yeah.
hype.
Mm.
Let's get that image up there. There we go. Plat does a thing where she like
Cool.
changes the image behind the scenes for the stream and then like does a fade in, fade out. But like, nah.
Yeah.
Like kudos to you,
Who
Plat.
would be that?
Kudos
Nah.
to you, Plat, for that dedication.
That's not
But-
necessary.
Just for.
That's some production value.
Nah.
All right. So, what are you guys most excited for from this direct?
Yoshi's Crafted World.
That's in the image. I knew you'd pick that.
He
It's
just
even
picked
in
one
the
off
bottom
there.
left where you were sitting. So that makes it your most.
It's got to be Mario Maker 2 for me. I think that's probably pretty obvious, but
Mhm.
so excited.
Now, are you one of the people that's like watched like all the people breaking down the trailer in depth to find out all of the new things and like?
Yeah, I watched Grand Pooh Bear. He did a pretty in-depth analysis that we watched together. But that's the only one I've seen. And then
No.
it was just reaction videos of people freaking out.
Did you watch the one that he did on his stream or the interview he did with Kotaku?
On his stream. But it was
Oh,
on
I
YouTube,
didn't know
I
he
think.
did an interview with Kotaku.
Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't know that
either.
either.
It's like
That's
a
sweet.
almost hour-long interview breakdown of Super Mario Maker 2.
Whoa.
Did he put it out on YouTube?
I don't know if he did and Kotaku did. They did the interview, so they
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they interviewed him, probably because I don't think he's like the biggest Mario Maker 2 like streamer, but I think he was like the most hype. Because if you like saw him live, like the hour before it happened, he's like, I'm predicting Mario Maker. He's like, that way if they announce it, I can do a hot cut of me saying that to them doing it. He's like, and I'm gonna say it every Nintendo Direct until they announce it. So I'm gonna be right one of these days. And then it happened. And he literally jumps out of his seat. He's jumping on his chair. Like he
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone so hyped for a game. I
Right. For
can't
real.
recall a
He
time.
was.
I think everyone in the
freaking
Mario
out.
community was pretty excited for it.
Yeah, but like,
Oh, yeah.
but no one else. I don't think anyone else had that reaction that he did, especially since he had it captured. Like, it was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Jumping in
I
his
was watching
chair.
Blade, and his reaction was pretty good too.
yeah. So,
Oh, I didn't see his.
all right. So, do you guys think the entire world's gonna become Mario Maker streamers after this? Do you think?
Yep.
Yes.
So you're all gonna as well?
No.
I might dabble with it a little bit. I'm not the best with Mario, so
Mm.
So full
I'm
admission-
gonna
It
go
it wouldn't
back
be
to
that
it.
good to watch me play it.
I never played the first one.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Nope. I had a Wii U. I never played it. I never bought it.
It's
Never
so
got it.
fun.
Never played it. So I've
It's
watched
such a good
it.
time.
Wow.
I've watched a buttload of it, but I've not actually played it. So like I'm hyped for it, but I still don't know if I'll actually get it or play it. But like
Mm. I think if you enjoy Mario games of any type, you would enjoy it.
oh yeah, I
Mm.
don't doubt it. I mean, the only complaints I ever hear about people who are like dedicated to like one particular Mario game, because then the physics are slightly different. Because like the
Mm.
physics
Oh,
of Mario
yeah.
Maker, it's the same across all of them. So if you play like a lot of Super Mario Brothers 3, even if you have the Super Mario Brothers 3 skin in Mario Maker, the physics are different. So,
That's true.
I know that throws
Okay,
some
that makes
people off.
sense.
Like Mitch Flower Power, he does predominantly Super Mario Brothers 3, and like he did a
Mhm.
lot of Mario Maker, but if it was the Super Mario Brothers 3 theme, he just wouldn't play it because it just threw him off too much on how he was used to playing.
Yeah,
Like-
but I imagine that has a lot to do with he plays such difficult levels too, right?
Yeah.
For like casuals like us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's probably not that big of a deal. But I can totally see where he's coming from.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's such a niche complaint, but it's the only one I've ever really heard of the Mario Maker franchise. Like everyone else is just like, this is
Mm.
great, because it can be
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
tailored to you about the difficulty you want to do and everything like that.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say there's like so much variety there.
Yeah.
That it's kind of difficult to not find something you would enjoy. Whether it's just like people being creative with auto scrollers and you don't actually have to play anything, or or different difficulties or anything.
I think it's funny too. You know, there's the main, you know, Mario streamers on Twitch, and you're like, oh man, these guys are really, really good. And then you start playing Mario Maker, and it's like there's a lot of other people that are really good at Mario too,
Yeah.
because you have to beat the level when you create it.
I know.
And watching some of these streamers play these levels, and then they struggle to beat it, and it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
don't realize how many people are actually really, really good at Mario.
I was gonna say the one thing I don't like is people who like put the hidden block that you have to know exactly where it is at the right time to like actually beat the level. I
Yeah.
feel
The
like
dev
that's
doors.
such
Yep, dev
a
doors,
it's
that's
such a
what I think.
cop out. It's such
Yeah.
a cop out.
No, I agree entirely. It's I feel like those became less and less common, because I think once people could rate stages, I think they never got rated well and they just disappeared quickly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think initially they were all over the place because you couldn't like rate, you couldn't do that.
Mm.
Well,
And they
one
were-
of the streamers too, they were saying that people, as soon as their level gets one clear, they'll delete it and make a new level because they want all their levels to be like non clears.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Really? That
I
was
hadn't
a
heard
thing
that.
What's the advantage
Wow.
of that?
I don't know.
to show off.
There's
Be
a
like,
couple.
no one's ever beaten my levels.
I mean, does
That's
Nintendo
odd.
track that? Is there a stat somewhere? Does anyone know? Like, was there like a
Well, they
stat?
have a
like-
completion percentage
yeah, but
on
if
the
you delete a
levels.
stage, but that's tied to a level, not a person. So if you delete
Right,
that,
but
you
if
Yeah.
you
cleared
went
it.
if you went to the user though and you looked at all their levels and
Yeah.
it was just 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0,
But they won't be there after they're deleted.
that's true.
I don't know. It's been
No,
a
but
long
they
time
can
since I
create a
played
new
Mario
level
Maker.
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it
That's
was the
true.
Beast that said it. He's, you know, he must have seen, you know, the same name because it tells you the person who made the level.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Oh, he might have.
someone
just
else
said
was
the
playing
name.
a level, and he was like, "Oh, this person deletes their levels after someone clears it."
Mm.
I wonder if there's a way to see if someone's deleted a level. There's not, isn't there? I guess that would kind of be a dumb feature.
Isn't there like a website
Maybe on
repository of
Nintendo's
stages?
end, but
Or was that like user made? I thought there was like a URL, like a website where people were like tracking like stages and stuff like that. I could be wrong.
I'd assume that would be
I
user
don't
made.
know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
That doesn't sound
That
like
would have to
Nintendo.
be. Yeah, no.
No.
sounds like Jakku to me.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, a Warp World feature on a
Yeah.
website.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
So, has anyone been playing a lot of online Nintendo Switch games? Like, I've been doing a lot of Ultimate, but has anyone else been playing much?
No.
Mm,
No, not really since Smash.
Okay. I was curious if
Haven't played
people
that
had,
a
like,
bit.
any opinions of, like, the Nintendo servers. Because I know, like, myself and the Smash community, we complain about them all the time. The rooms just, like, crash every now and then.
Oh, really?
Oh, just
Are
that
they-
the service is bad versus the price or anything.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
everyone's complaining you're paying for an online feature now, and it's not up to what you
Yeah.
think you should be paying for.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, so if it crashes some, okay, I guess coming from like a developer standpoint, I guess I could understand something crashing every once in a while if they have a bug in there or something. But past that, are they just like slow in general?
it's hard to tell, because a lot of times if they're slow, you just blame it on a single person.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people, especially in the Smash community, have committed to just being hardline. I bought the adapter. A lot of people bought the adapter, so we just have an Ethernet, not relying on the Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
Right.
But you have to buy the adapter, otherwise you can't play.
Yeah.
So, but like you won't notice any slowdown. Then all of a sudden it just stop loading and the whole room will crash. Like it's more prevalent in people who are doing like hosted lobbies where you can have up to 6 to 8 people playing. Every now and then the whole room will just crash, and that's different than someone lagging out and them being forced to leave. Like the whole room will crash. And
I was just about to ask, so like you have the option of local hosting or using the Nintendo servers?
Well, it kind of piggybacks off yours when you do it, but it still uses their servers. Like it's a little bit of both. Because it's not fully hosted off of your system, your servers, but if you're hosting the room, like there's some parts that are off yours, but otherwise the room can crash. That's like that'll be on Nintendo's end. Sometimes it can be on your end. It's really hard to tell. It's easier for me to tell if I'm streaming. If my whole stream crashes and the room crashed, it was my end.
Yeah.
But if I have my because I've been having weird internet issues, so a lot of times when I'm streaming, even now, I keep up our real-time traffic monitor of my internet.
Yeah.
I'm keeping logs of it, so when I call Comcast, or sorry, not Comcast, Spectrum, I can be like, listen, like this is the issue I've been having. Here's me documented. So like if I don't even notice a single dip and the room will crash, like there's nothing on my end that would have caused that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I've heard something before that when you play with other people, like in a private room online, that it's based on like one person, if they have a bad connection, can slow everything down. Is that right?
They'll slow down the match
Yes.
that they're in.
Oh, okay.
But as an
But what
observer,
if they're viewing it? Does that also slow down the other matches?
it possibly, but not that I've seen. And the only reason I say that is because there's a gentleman who frequently is in my rooms or another friend of my rooms when we stream or play. His name is Rap, and he has a notoriously bad connection. So when he's playing, a lot of his matches lag, but when he's observing, there's almost never any lag.
Oh, okay. See,
well,
I
mean, that kind of
both of
answers
those.
your question there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's confirmation bias. I have a very small subset of examples.
Right.
But
Small
from
sample
what
size there.
Yeah, what I've witnessed indicates it really doesn't matter if they're watching, just if they're playing. And I assume that's because when they're watching, they're not doing any upload. There's no inputs. There's nothing on their screen they're just purely viewing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I've only played like with other people like twice now. And I think someone had mentioned that in chat that that's how it was, but I don't know if it was right.
Yeah.
Hey, Lily, I have a question for you.
Yes.
One of the big debates going around with the new Mario Maker, do you want old levels to be brought back or all fresh?
Ooh.
I don't think they're going to bring back the old levels. I think it's going to be all fresh.
I think so
one
too,
way or
but
another.
it's just a big debate between a lot of the Mario streamers. You know, some
like,
of them want.
should they allow it to be?
Yeah.
Are you talking about like exporting and moving stuff over, or maybe I
Well,
don't
just
quite
keeping
understand.
all the same levels they have now, and then allowing to add new ones.
Oh, okay. So just automatically bringing everything over.
Yeah.
I feel like they should be able to import it locally, but still have to rebeat it. Because if they change any physics, any elements, any interactions between items, the stages may be unbeatable.
That's
true.
exactly what I was gonna say. Because if you just flood everything over, I think that kind of, at least for them, is going to defeat a lot of the time where you have that giant swarm at the beginning of like hype. People are making a bunch of stuff. It's being creative at the beginning because there's nothing there and you're starting from scratch, versus if you ported everything over, you just have this like completely saturated set of levels still, and you kind of would have to sift through what's new rather than everything being new.
Yeah. No, I would prefer a perfectly fresh environment, but I would understand if people want the ability to import theirs and then rebeat it, or maybe they just want to edit it. Maybe they've spent like 20 hours making this perfect level, but now they want to tweak it with the new elements. Like they're like, oh, this one spot I really wish I could have put a slope in, and now I can. Like
Yeah.
Like that I could understand, but I agree.
Well, no, because there's a lot of streamers that spent a lot of time making all these levels, and now they're just gonna get deleted or whatever, or pushed aside to make room for.
Yeah, I think that's a different point of view too, because like me, I've never made levels, so I don't understand that side as much, but I could understand why they'd want to have it imported over, and then, you know, like you said, maybe they can change some elements and rebeat it to upload it again, so they don't have to build everything all over again. But from my point of view, as just someone who plays the game, I would prefer everything just be new and fresh, so I'm not playing the same levels all over again.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just from just a player's point of view rather than someone who's making it.
That's right. Is there any particular element that's new in the second game that you're excited for that you've seen?
So many things. The vertical level, probably the vertical levels, I think, is my favorite thing I've seen.
Okay.
That
had to
actually
pick one
looked
thing.
really cool.
Yeah.
That
I know.
looked really cool.
Yeah, because there were a lot of games where streamers tried to like make pseudo ad hoc verticals, but they're never good because you're just still limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I think one thing that I saw in like Pooh Bear's breakdown of it that I thought was really cool was being able to, for the scrollers, set the vertical scroll as well as the horizontal scroll and the speed of it.
Variable speed.
Yeah.
That I
that
thought
for, like,
was super cool.
Yeah, because on the trailer, someone's making like a pirate ship level, like a boss ship level. It looked like, so it looked like they were changing the up and down and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can tell it exactly where the camera needs to go next and how quickly and everything. It looks so cool.
Yeah, agreed. That looks good.
Yeah.
I would love to see some of those, like, the levels where you're already short on time and you have to make it really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Except on the side scroller where it's just left to right still, but it starts really slow. And as the time runs down, it's like going faster and faster and faster. Yeah. So you have to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah.
Would you have something on that's moving that would kill you so you can't just rely on it pushing you?
Exactly. So it's slowly but surely more difficult obstacles, but at the same time, the side scrolling's moving faster and faster and faster.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting. I wonder if I feel like there's probably stages similar to that. But now that you can tweak the speed, that would make it more interesting.
Yeah.
I think it would just give it a sense of like rushing. Like the panic would set in so much more.
Oh, they have those already for sure.
They do.
Okay,
There's a lot of those levels.
You're going to get someone that's going to have a death wall on either side, and it's slowly speeding up, so you need to survive in it. And then out of nowhere, it's just going to stop, and you're just going to leap into this death wall.
Yeah.
Just going to reach a dead stop out of nowhere, and you're like, son of a...
Yep.
What I'm interested to see is I keep seeing all these rumors and certain screenshots that were taken from the reveal of like Mario and Luigi and like two players next to each other. Like, is there going to be a co-op?
Yeah, that's like the image I have up there. That's a lot of speculation as well. Like, how is it going to work? Because there's also Toad in the images. Toad is in there, so people are like, is there going to be co-op? I think Pooh thinks that's just going to be like co-op stage creation, so like you can share things and stuff like that. Because I can't imagine. I guess I could imagine co-op levels, but you'd have to specifically set them for it. Like, you couldn't just have someone design a level and then people decide to beat it co-op, because that would just break certain like levels.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I could see like some really cool things you could do. Say if you had your level and everything, and you just like start in maybe even two different areas, and you kind of have to do things to make them interact.
Like Portal 2.
Yeah, Portal.
Portal Mario.
I think that would be awesome.
God.
And you even have the pipes to teleport.
That would be so fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you can make it so you could dictate a level's multiplayer and can only be played with that, I think that could work.
I was curious too. Everyone's excited about Luigi. Do you get to pick whether you want to play as Mario or Luigi, or does the creator of the level say, hey, you're going to play as Luigi this time?
I think it'll only matter if they have different character movements.
Yeah.
Like if it's Super Mario Brothers 2, where Luigi and Mario and Toad and Princess, they all have different movement mechanics, I think that. Otherwise, I feel like if they're going to have multiple characters and it's only one player, I feel like they're going to have the same mechanics. It's just going to be aesthetics.
I think that would be really cool, though, if they had Super Mario 2 style
movements.
Yeah, different
like
characters.
Really high
Peach
Luigi
can
jumps.
hover. Peach can hover. Toad's moving 1.5 million miles an hour.
That's probably why they haven't done it yet, though. There's probably too much logistics in it.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly, but the thing with Mario Maker is you don't really need to worry about the logistics mode. You just give the characters abilities, and then just let the players do what they want. If they want to restrict you to Mario, they can restrict you to Mario. If they want to restrict you or allow, like in something like Mario Maker, I feel like the logistics are a lot less on the end of Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Like they
Yeah,
just give
and-
options to players and like let the players decide.
And they already have the different game physics, right? You can already select the normal like OG ones. You can select the Mario 3 ones. You can select whatever it is for the physics and abilities. So I don't feel like adding. It's basically a different version of that. It'd be like Mario 2 dash Peach,
But the
Mario
physics didn't
2
change.
dash Toad.
Only the aesthetics changed. If you went
Mhm.
from Super Mario World to Super Mario Bros. 3 in Mario Maker, it didn't change the actual physics. It all used the same physics engine. It just changed the skins.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's different about 2 is all the characters have different physics to them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I would love to see the different physics for them. But I guess that could be a huge development task at the same time.
Well, that'd be
They have to-
interesting if the level creator could decide in their mind, oh, I'm going to make a level 4 Peach who can actually float along in the air, and then they could design the level around that and then restrict it just to Peach.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
No, I 100% agree with Lily. I feel like giving the Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toadstool different movement physics is a lot easier than having different physics per game type.
Right.
And then the creator can decide which characters you're allowed or not allowed to play.
Why
I
do
would
you think
love
it
to
would
see
be more
that.
difficult
What do
than
you
the
mean?
different physics for the different game types? I feel like it's the same concept, right? It's whatever character has a certain physics tailored for them. It's not like necessarily the whole game, because the games themselves are static items in a set pattern. Like the physical level, it's the characters that have different physics depending on the game that is played, right? So if you already have characters from Mario 2 that have different physics, it shouldn't really be different to develop a Mario 3 character that has different physics, right? It's like an additional character. It's like having an additional character in Smash Brothers. The levels can stay the same, but you have a different physics for the character themselves.
I think y'all are saying the same thing, but just in different ways.
Possibly.
It sounds like.
I don't know.
Maybe.
It might just be in my head. In my head, I would find it easier to learn the different characters regardless of the game type than to learn all the different game mechanics. And that could just be crazy. But I feel like in my brain that is an easier task. So I feel like that's an easier thing.
Mhm.
Are you talking about from the player perspective
Yeah,
or from like
from-
developers Nintendo's perspective?
I'm talking about from the player's perspective, because Nintendo's perspective, to my mind, is mostly moot. Like they don't have to worry so much about game balancing because it's a player-created universe. They just need to give players the mechanics and let them work with it. But I
Okay,
feel like,
that's what we were talking differently then.
Okay.
You were talking from the player's perspective.
Yeah.
I was talking from like Nintendo as a developer's perspective.
Gotcha. Okay.
That task is very easy for them to program given they already have the different Mario 2 physics.
Okay, yeah, agreed. From a developer standpoint, it's not too hard, but I think from the player standpoint, it's easier just to have all the worlds have the same physics for the first one, because then they just could aesthetically change it, but it was still playing the same.
Yeah, it's different sprites for the same game essentially.
Mhm.
Yep.
Different physics would be so cool though. I would love that. That would be so cool. It'd be so interesting to see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm not expecting it. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it's nice to speculate about.
Yeah. It'll be interesting because it's coming out soon, like June, right? Like it's a very
June.
short announcement.
Yeah.
time.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't even see the release date. I wasn't paying attention. I was too distracted by Yoshi's Crafted World.
Now, are you memeing us, or are you legit excited about Yoshi's Crafted World?
No, I'm legit excited. Like I really liked the different ones in the Yoshi series, and I liked Yoshi's Woolly World.
Okay.
And I feel like Yoshi's Crafted World is kind of like a part 2 to that.
Okay.
I didn't see it. Is it similar to Woolly World or?
I mean, it wasn't like a huge time segment there, but that's kind of what it seemed like to me, or that's how it came across to me. But at the same time, instead of it just being the 2D scroller aspect, it seemed like it had different buildings you could go in and kind of a lot more substance to it than Woolly World, which was more like storybook style. You had levels and you just beat the levels, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it was still fun. I played Woolly World. I just haven't seen any content on the new one.
Yeah,
Did
they
nobody
didn't.
play the demo?
I didn't. Nope.
Hmm.
No,
Okay,
I
Mr.
would like
Hype,
to.
you didn't play the
I would
demo?
like to. Well, I'd have to get Lily's stuff.
It's right
I didn't
here.
even know there was a demo.
You say
Yeah.
that like it's such a insurmountable task. You live together, and I think you pointed at it. I think it's probably within eyesight. The way you're like, I'd
No,
have to.
no. It's in the other room. It's the
Okay.
exact opposite side of the apartment. But I mean, for me, I go to work every day so that I have like my office and everything, and that's Lily's office. And I don't like I treat it like she's going to work in a separate building
Okay.
almost. So that way
Constantly comes in and scares me.
that's true though. That's true. That's true. But in general, I try and treat it that way to like have that
The respect.
barrier. Well, it's
Yeah.
respect and that
Yeah.
barrier between like work time and home time at the same time.
Hmm.
I don't go into her office unless I'm going to scare her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a real job.
Well, I mean, I
And
guess
that's because it's funny
Lily, you
for
don't
me.
have carte
and it's
blanche
funny
to
for
go
the
into
stream.
his office in his professional setting and just scare the
Mhm.
crap out of him. Just
I wish I could.
Honestly,
terrible.
everybody in the office would think that was hilarious. So
Probably so.
so. I mean,
she
at the
just
very
doesn't
least,
have a
aggregate
key
them.
card.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a secure office, so unfortunately,
I mean, I guess
She's
that would make
not
it extra
able to get
scary
in.
if she did to get in there.
if
There you
she
go.
did, oh my god.
Oh. So, and then, all right. So there's also there's one other big game, but any of the other small games that got announced? Anyone else excited for those? Because I mean, Smash 3.0 patch. They're re-releasing Dragon Quest 11 on the Switch. They did Final Fantasy 7 and 9. They did Tetris Battle Royale or something like that. Like,
Yeah, the Tetris
Yeah,
99
Tetris.
was super cool. Lily and I were watching like Cat play it the other day and it was super cool. And then she and I watched like the number one rank person
Oh my
Play it?
god.
Yeah.
and that's insane. Like
Yeah, I've been so excited to
Oh,
play
man.
Tetris until I watched him play it, and then I was like, "There's no point. I'm never gonna win."
is it the guy that recently won the Tetris World Championship, or is it just someone on?
I'm
no,
not sure.
it's someone different.
Okay, 'cause
But-
I know the Tetris World Championship recently changed like a couple months or so ago.
Mhm.
The guy who's won it like 7 to 10 years running or something like that finally like lost.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know about that.
Yeah, he was like he's
Yeah.
like a 30-year-old guy who's just been playing forever, and then some young gun in the Tetris scene like came up and was a big upset.
Yeah. It's no though this wasn't the same dude and just the overall concept of it, I love it.
Mhm.
But if you were to get in a room with that dude, you just have no chance. Like there's zero chance
Yeah.
unless you were a Tetris master that's ever going to happen. Because so the overall concept, I don't know if you watched it. It didn't
I
seem
actually haven't. Like I've heard of it, I've seen nothing on it. So
so
I've seen
it's-
nothing on it either.
it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
Oh,
Tetris
it's great.
battle royale.
Yeah,
is
so
what it is.
learn us
It's
some
Tetris
information.
Battle royale. So we were watching it, and essentially there's like 99 players, obviously, and you can select which board to attack.
Okay.
And when you get combos, it sends rows of blocks to them.
Okay, so you select one person of 99 other people?
Yes. And you just send them rows of blocks that you're completing.
Okay. So could people like gang up on one person?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All 99 could look at one person and they just instantly die if they wanted to.
All right, so that's how you beat the number one guy. You just need to
Yeah.
hope everyone.
But there's no coordination though. Like you can't tell this person's rank
Yeah.
1 in the world or whatever. You just see 99 boards and you guess which one you
So-
want to attack at the time based on like the little pictures.
Yeah.
So you can see little pictures of what they're Tetris or what their board currently looks like for all 99.
So how do you see the 99 while still playing and then select who you want to do without your board just dying?
Yeah, it
That's
sounds really
the
weird
skill.
until you see the UI.
Okay.
Like it in concept, it sounds insanely complicated, but they've actually have it laid out really nice. So you have your big Tetris board in the middle,
Yeah.
and then tiny little Tetris boards on the sides.
So you just like
And it
poke
just-
one and then just go?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I know there's some. I haven't played it yet. I've only watched Kat play it, really. But I know there's some hotkeys you can do, like you hit the down button and it automatically selects the person who's closest to being knocked out. So you don't have to visually look at all of 99 all the time and try to pick out who to attack. You can just kind of hit a button and kind of go.
Oh man, so you can just
just keep playing
snowball someone
Tetris.
having a bad day. Someone
Yeah.
could be like,
Yeah.
all right, I got this. I'm about to come back, and then 40 players hit down, target them, and just.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
shit on one
Pretty
person.
much.
And I don't know if exactly like that, but something along
okay.
those lines where it kind of automates it. But it's craziness.
But
The
that
music
dude,
is hype and it's so good.
that dude
Where
was
is this being
insane.
played?
On Switch.
Yeah,
It's on
it-
Switch.
Yeah, it was part of the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, it's a free game too, as long as you have the online service.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to take a look at it. Like I saw, I always loved Tetris, but I was like, I don't know if I care. But
Watch someone
Yeah.
stream it and then watch the number one dude. Like you can see the discrepancy and like why you would
are
just
you
shake
trying
your
to
head.
encourage me to play it or dishearten me away from
Discourage
playing?
if you watch it.
No, it's super fun and interesting. And it's not like you're gonna get that dude in your game every single time. There's so many players that
Well,
the
no, I
odds
know
are
that,
you're
but it's
not
just
gonna
like-
get that.
You'll never be this good. Oh.
Yeah, it's really discouraging to watch. Don't watch it. Play it first.
All right,
Yeah, play
Watch
it
it later.
first and then watch it once you're addicted.
It's like
Mhm.
there's a lot of games like that. Like I know recently for Beat Saber, like
Yeah.
watching someone
Oh,
at the
yeah.
high end play that. But the Valve I think Valve does Beat Saber, right? Who
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yes, maybe.
For argument's sake, we'll say Valve, but whoever
Sure.
decided that recently had to do a patch for Beat Saber to recognize movements because people were playing and moving faster than they thought was humanly possible.
What?
Oh, that's insane! I
So
love
they're
it.
like, all right, we'll recognize these type of movements. That should be beyond what people are humanly possible. And then people are going and beating it faster than that. They're like, all right, we need to patch this because people are moving faster than we humanly thought was possible.
Oh my god.
Like you could, like
That's
they
great.
did this like 2 weeks ago or something like that. They released a patch because humans are crazy.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah.
love that so much.
But like
They didn't
that's
have
their
enough faith
cool.
in the player.
like that's their official like patch note statement was people move faster than we thought was humanly possible.
It's just like y'all crazy.
What's wrong with you guys?
But I
Best
imagine like
patch
watching
notes.
the number one guy in Tetris is like that. You're like, is that humanly possible? I think this is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean,
Like,
I
what
felt
song
like
is going that fast though?
I don't know.
Dude,
I don't
Sandstorm.
know.
Probably custom songs. People are probably uploading custom songs and
Yeah.
Well, I would
mean,
imagine.
I
so,
haven't
but
looked at it.
so.
to make it still actually sound like the song though.
Well, you can get a lot of like
Mhm.
not necessarily just J-pop, but a lot of like pop songs are just really fast beats. Like it's really all you need. Like I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah, I
music
guess-
person.
I've never played it, but I guess you could put on like every eighth note or something too. So
Yeah, like you
every
can-
beat has like 5 notes you have to hit.
I mean, I don't even know. Since I haven't played it or like obviously developed anything for it, you may just be able to put as many blocks as you want, even if it's not
Yeah.
necessarily on the beat. I don't think their software is detecting every beat of the song and forcing you to put it there. So you may be able to have like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and it's just like
I can't imagine that. You're just like twinkle, twinkle. You're just screwing with your brain like this is wrong.
it
Perfect
feels
song for
so
that.
wrong.
Like that was my problem on the original Guitar Hero, I think it was. The final song was Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Mm.
Now, I'm a country boy. I grew up listening to country music all my life. If you have a cover band play Devil Went Down to Georgia, I cannot follow that beat because it's not correct.
Right.
Like, it's ever so slightly different, but I could not beat that song for the life of me. Like, I was never like the expert player, but I could beat like the whole game on hard. Like, I got there. I never got to expert, but I could do all the songs on the hard. I couldn't even do that one on like medium. It just was, the beat was just wrong in my head.
Just didn't click.
No,
Didn't
just-
click.
But any other little titles that anyone wants to talk about before we get into the next big one that I know Toddy's really hyped for? I don't know about anyone else, but
Well,
I know which one you're talking about.
You're gonna go into that one next.
well, I'm gonna see if there's any other
I
little
won't,
ones. Or
I won't say it then.
I kind of wanted to ask what people thought about like the re-release of Final Fantasy VII, because that's like it's been re-released already.
Well, not on Switch though.
True.
Hmm.
The only
Yeah,
thing
but
that annoys
Resident
me is
Evil
they-
2
I
has
feel
been
like-
released like 6 times over by now.
I feel like they're just like trying to cash cow those things, and they poured it over to every new console.
And that's actually the big complaint. I don't know about 7, but that was a huge complaint of people who were playing 9 on Switch, is it's just a direct port of the phone game. Like, same UI, same bugs that existed, same everything. They just ported over the phone version they made into the Switch, and people are like, what the hell? Like, so I don't know about 7,
Huh.
but I know people were complaining about that about 9. And that's my complaint. If you're like, I don't care if you want to port a game to new consoles to give new people, new generations a chance to play, but like, put effort into it.
yeah.
Like, you can't just
Well,
copy
I mean-
paste phone onto Switch and be like, perfect, done.
Fix the known bugs at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the ones that aren't just direct copy and paste, like they're still really copy and paste with different sprites and graphics on it. Like
Yeah.
there's been no substance changes to any of those.
For the most part, yeah, I agree. But that's why it's extra noticeable when they don't even bother with that much. If they can't even put that much effort in, like, that's bad. That's bad.
Mm.
So, like, that's
Yeah,
the only
I
part
just-
that bothers me. I don't care that they added it. Like, some people will. Awesome. I'm more wondering what's actually happening with the Final Fantasy VII remake that's been announced, I don't know, half my life ago or something. Like, it's been...
Feels that long ago.
This is it. How do you not know?
But, like,
Didn't look quite as nice as I expected.
because when they originally released the PS3, they did a teaser video of, here's the Final Fantasy VII could like, but we're not doing it. And then like X years go by and they're like, all right, we're actually going to do it. And then like another X years go by, like, all right, we're going to do it in segments because we're making a lot of updates and we're going to change the combat. And people are like, what? And then they went radio silent again. Like, you can't just tell me you're going to release it in segments and change the combat and then just disappear from headlines again. Like, you can't.
Right.
So like,
For such a beloved
I
game,
think they're
too.
yeah.
Mm.
as the games keep going on and progressing, they keep getting away from the turn-based style and they're more into action-based now,
Yeah.
which I know a lot of the older Final Fantasy players don't like.
I just think in general it's a cop out. Like I feel like they just that cash, which I can't blame them for as a company. If it makes you money, like that's literally what a company is for.
Yeah, that's their end goal. There's money.
That's
in
kind
the
of the
bank.
point.
Yeah, no, like I just to go into action combat doesn't bother me. I've always personally been a bigger fan of the Tales games over the Final Fantasy games, so I actually like the active combat systems. But I understand that if you're a Final Fantasy fan and like, especially if they're gonna remake 7 and change the combat, I can understand people being pissed. Like, I can be like, if you take out a turn-based system from one of the most classic turn-based games, like I fully get people being pissed. I would agree with them at that point. I'm like, nah, be pissed.
I mean, at that point in time, do you really call it like Final Fantasy VII anymore? Like go with one of the other ones because they've done it for other Final Fantasies. Make it like Final Fantasy 7-2 or something, just to mitigate the amount of people
Well,
getting
Kingdom
pissed.
Hearts all over again.
7.5 remix.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kingdom Hearts 1.5, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 remix.
What was the difference in those? I only
A lot
played
of
the
times
like
it
major
depended-
versions.
Sometimes they added like a different video, like a new video recapping. Sometimes they added one of the handheld options. Like, it's I don't know. There was always some. There's like 11 different Kingdom Hearts games. Believe it or not, there's like a Flash game. Like you go to the website, you play a Flash game. You have the classics 1 and 2. You have like 4 different handhelds. You have a couple different videos they released. Like, it's insane how much stuff is actually out there for Kingdom Hearts.
I
Like,
didn't know that. I knew like
Oh yeah.
the main 4, but that was it. I didn't know they had like ported it over to handhelds and everything.
But it's not even ported over. It's entirely different games. Like, for someone like me who played Kingdom Hearts 1 and then didn't own a handheld, then they came out with Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm like, awesome. I'm really excited for the sequel. And then they're referencing all the stuff that happened in, like, 365 by 2 or Chains of something? I forget which game. But, like, suddenly Roxas is there and they're referencing the stuff. And I'm like, what? What did I miss? I played 1. I played 2. How am I missing information?
How's there something in the middle? That's not how this works.
And my friend's like, well, have you played any of the handhelds? I'm like, there were handhelds? Like
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Is
Yeah.
there were handhelds?
There's entirely unique handhelds that have their own stories, their own plots that tie in and are relevant.
Yeah.
Like, they're not just like side stories that you can happen to know and don't need to know. Like, they're plot relevant information in those.
You can't call it 2 then. Like you could make it like, I feel like that's saying a spin-off to a TV show is a real sequel. Like, I don't know. For some reason the only spin-off I can think of is like Angel to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's like having a season of Buffy and then having a season of Angel, completely different show, but having the next season of Buffy completely pick off where that came from. So you like miss an entire season of storyline if you don't watch the
Hey,
spin-off.
Wolves, does that sound familiar?
Yeah. So a game that actually does what you want, Agri, is Valkyria Chronicles. I'm currently playing Valkyria Chronicles 4. I played Valkyria Chronicles 1 for PS2, but Valkyria Chronicles 2 and 3 were on handhelds. But they kept the... So, like,
I mean,
you're
at
not
least at that
surprised.
point in time, you know what's going on.
Yeah, like if
I feel like that's the least they can do. Like,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the minimum.
So, like, if you didn't know the handhelds exist and you played the first one like I did, then they're like, we're releasing 4. You're like, okay, so apparently I missed 2 and 3. Let me look into this. Where Kingdom Hearts never did that. Like, all right, this is 3. You're like, awesome. I can't wait to play the 3rd game of the series. Like, no, this is the 11th game of the series. You're like, but you called it 3.
You can at least, like, at that point in time, you can at least, like, Google the TLDR of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, remember I did that with Daredevil, Wolves?
Oh, God, I was yelling at you. This
What?
guy watched, like, all of the
season
Marvel
3 of-
things, like, out of order. And, like,
Well,
every
season
week...
3 of Daredevil doesn't follow season 2. It follows the Defenders.
But I kept yelling at him. I'm like, watch them in this order. And he's jumping all over the place and asking me questions like, when was I supposed to know this? When you watch this one like I told you to. I'm like, he didn't care. He was just skipping entire seasons. He's like, I don't care about this character. I'm just going to watch that. I'm like, it's so plot relevant. like I said, he skipped Defenders. Major things happen in Defenders. Just skips it.
Should listened.
So, what game were we moving to that's Toddy's excited for? I really want to know, like, what Toddy is into.
I think we all know what it is.
Link's Awakening.
Boom.
Yes.
There it is. Remaking the classic, arguably.
That was always one of my
handheld.
That was always one of my favorite Zelda games too. That was very underrated that a lot of people never played. Like, you talk to anyone that plays like A Link to the Past or something, you're like, "Oh, have you played Link's Awakening?" Everyone's like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
See, I've played every one of the Zeldas, like, including the Link's. I did not play Zelda 2. I will admit that one.
It's like the least popular, but I always loved Zelda 2. And I knew I was in like this small, like, secluded club of people that liked it, but I actually liked Zelda 2. Like, it's not my
just
favorite,
recently-
but I liked it.
Yeah, Pooh just recently played it, and he said it was better than the original Zelda.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always heard people just talk crap about Zelda 2.
I mean,
I
I
haven't
didn't
played it
even
either,
do it.
so.
It's just
I didn't
such a
even-
drastic change. Like,
Yeah.
That's it. We're all going to race Zelda 2 against each other.
Good luck with that.
all right, now, what do you guys feel about the graphics change? How do you guys, the new graphics, the new look, the new aesthetic?
Well, I didn't
I don't
play
mind
the
it.
original, so I don't have like nostalgic attachment to the old style. I think the new one looks super cute.
Mhm.
So I'm
It's
excited to play it.
it's very Wind Wakery.
It is. Mm.
You know, everyone thought Wind Waker was such a big change because they went to that, you know,
Cell shading.
kiddish, cartoonish style, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
Well,
still
what do
ended
you
up being a
think
huge
since-
game.
What do you think about the style change since it is a beloved old game from you?
Oh, I don't mind it. I mean,
Mm.
it'll because everything still looks similar. I mean, you look at the pictures and you could still tell where you are,
Yeah,
even though it
Mm.
has a new style change to it.
yeah, I have a picture
And
that
even
does a
like when I
side-by-side
watched the
comparison in
demo,
one spot.
when I watched the demo, I still knew where they were by looking at it. It didn't look so completely different just because the art style changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think the only problem I had with the art style, and I mentioned this to Toddy when it came out, is I saw, and my first instinct when I saw Link was Island of Misfit Toys. The
Oh,
elf
it
that,
does look like it.
the elf that wants to be a dentist. Like
Yep.
the second I saw it, that was my first inclination. And it's not that I don't like the art style. I think there's aesthetically, I think there's a lot of cool things about it. But my brain can't get it past. Now I'm playing the guy who wants to be a dentist, saving the princess. And like I feel bad because I don't want to take away from the game because Link's Awakening is one of like 2 handhelds I played. I played all of the major
Mhm.
console ones, but I've only ever played like 2, maybe 3 handhelds. And I do like
Yeah.
Link's Awakening. It's really
Mhm.
good. So like I'm hoping I can get over that in my head because I know that's all me. Like I don't. Like, but that was my only complaint was Island of Misfit Toys.
Very claymation style.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
and just the aesthetic because he has that very obvious part going on that the guy has. The color aspect, but the hood, the outfit, it's the same, just slightly different color with the hair. So it's just like.
So you're
My-
saying they totally ripped off that
Yep.
Christmas show. They
It's
just
gonna be
like
really
looked
awkward.
at it on one side, Zelda on the other they're making, and they're like, hey, how close can I get this?
Yep. It's gonna be really
Mhm.
awkward when you get to the final boss and it's Meister Burger. That's gonna
Instead of Twin Rova.
be yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Zelda's replaced with Saint Nick, Santa, the guy.
I'm interested in the controls though,
Okay.
because you know
Mhm.
the controllers have adapted so much. You know, this was a Game Boy game.
Mm.
There was A and B and a D-pad, and that was it.
That's true. That's true.
So like, are they going to change the controls up, or you know, how's it going to feel going from 2 buttons to 18 buttons?
I wonder if they're just going to lock it down where you only use 2 buttons and the D-pad.
Yeah, I feel like you're probably right. I feel like they might have like L&R will do quick item changes, like something like that, but I feel
Mhm.
like they're not going to go too overboard. I think they're probably going to just lock it down to stabby, and movie.
Mm.
Well, yeah, I would assume like either like Y or B or the bumpers or something might like open your inventory instead of pressing like select or.
I think.
Yeah. I think that would be smart, but I think if they get too into like changing up all the controls to get you the brand newest use every button, I think it'll like thinking about how the game is, I think that it would, I don't know, at least for me, ruin a lot of it. Not
Okay.
because it would be like, oh, it's not what I remember, not a nostalgia thing. Just I don't
Right.
think the game itself suits that amount of like controls and complexity.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just too simple of a game for all that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just need to keep it simple.
Mhm.
And the only thing I wonder is if they're going to do anything special. So if they're going to have purely the base game, if they're going to tweak it, or if they're going to offer an additional thing on top of it. Like, what was the game that redid like Link's Awakening, but you could actually like hop into like shadow walls and stuff like that? Like, what was that?
Oh, what was it called?
Link Between Worlds?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where it
Mhm.
was just Link's Awakening, but then they added this whole new element to the same game. Like you could rent items, so you could go in any order, you could do all these cool things.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to do a pure re-release with this new aesthetic, or if they're going to do anything unique or change something. Or if they'll do both. They'll have like the original with this aesthetic and then like this new version.
I think from what we've seen, it's probably going to be the same game.
Mm-hmm.
I would be surprised if they add any elements like that.
I think they would have showed that in the trailer.
Yeah, I think so.
I would agree, but this Nintendo Direct makes me think that Nintendo might try to do something cheeky like that with how close Mario Maker 2 is coming out. Like they did a lot of things, Tetris, like Battle. They did a lot of like very surprising things that no one saw coming. They kept it all under wraps and were like, bam, now, or bam, 3 months. Like they did a couple things like that. I'm starting to wonder if Nintendo's starting to get a little cheeky with that. If they're trying to like surprise people and stuff like that. Like they might have the base game, but also have like, you know, when you get to the menu, start the traditional game or start like this weird version. Like,
right. I think that would be really cool, just like, to like vary it up
like
a
what
lot.
If they built in a randomizer?
Well, there is a randomizer already for the original game.
But like, what if they built that in? Like, what if they looked at the community and saw all these people doing mods of their games, randomizing things up? So you have start normal, start randomize, and it randomizes all these things.
See, and that would be cool because I think even in a randomizer version, they would make sure they have that same like Nintendo polish.
Yeah. So you wouldn't get unbeatable randomizes. Like,
sure.
Well, I mean, they could even have that as an option in there. Mm-hmm. But I think when they went and did that, maybe they would go back and, I don't know, remove some of the glitches you could do or whatever it may be, just to try and get that like perfection. If you were going to do this, you can do it, but you're still going to like do the game correctly. We still want you to actually play the game and not wrong warp right to the end.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like most of us, we've witnessed Nintendo for many, 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 many years. Yeah. And like the Nintendo of old is much different than the Nintendo of present. Nintendo of old was very much in-house, very much you had to go through these rigorous steps if you wanted to be a third-party developer. Like they were very tight-knit, very controlling in that aspect. And I feel like the new Nintendo is much more open. They actually patch games. Like especially as a Smash player, they're actually releasing patches. They have patch notes. They never had a single like patch note before. They would just make changes and be like, all right, we changed some stuff, and you're like, well, what'd you change? So now they're releasing patch notes, like they're doing updates. They're surprising, like they're doing the Nintendo Direct. They're giving little surprises out there. So that's why I think they could try to do something cheeky like a randomizer. If they're paying attention to the community, they might try something cheeky like that. And I would be very happy if they did.
I think them releasing patch notes and everything is also them just kind of having to follow the same direction a lot of different companies and games are doing.
But like if you look, stubbornly avoided it for years and we're still succeeding, just not as much as they could have.
Exactly. But they're a company. Their objective is to succeed and satisfy as many people as possible so they can sell as many games as possible. And if people in general are used to being kept in the loop a lot more than what they have right now, well, then it makes sense that they would kind of be forced to change that over time.
Is Nintendo a public or a private company? Do we know?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
idea.
Because that actually changes their motive. Like a public company has a fiduciary responsibility to stockholders to try to make money. If they're a private company, then they don't have that same responsibility, which would explain their stubbornness for so many years.
I want to say they're a private company, but I'm not. I can see Agreadda. Are you looking it up?
Yeah,
over
I know.
there?
I am looking it up.
That's why I'm waiting. We're all just like, all right.
It's a public company.
Okay, so maybe their stockholders, maybe people complained enough of Nintendo being that closed-minded, like stringent thing, and now they're finally opening up. Because like I said, I agree with you. Like they have their responsibility, but they still ignored that for years, and they succeeded. Nintendo was still profitable, and when the Wii came out, they were the only company selling a console that was making money. So like they've been succeeding. It's just they were always doing their own thing. So the fact that now they're also opening up is huge to me. Like I love seeing that side of Nintendo. I've been a fanboy forever. Like
yeah, they're finally adapting.
Yeah. Like they're allowing like Mortal Kombat's coming to Nintendo. Like all these that's a very adult game and it's coming to Switch and like they're really opening up and allowing they're hopping on the cross-platform thing, which like Sony is stubbornly saying we're part of it, and all developers are like, no, you're not. Like,
You make this nearly impossible to do. You're not actually part of it.
exactly. We're like, you can do Fortnite cross-platform. Smite just came out cross-platform on Switch. Like, Nintendo's hopping on that bandwagon. So like,
See, I don't know if you can do that like effective. Like, I mean, functionally you can do it, but even if you take like the Fortnite cross-platform, for example, if someone's playing like on the PC and you're playing on your phone, like, let's be real. Unless they just like lucked out and this is their first game and they hid somewhere, you're gonna lose that fight.
well, yeah, the skill cap of a mouse and keyboard is higher than the skill cap of a controller, but you could still do well. They're like, you know this. They're top 500 players in Overwatch that use a controller on a PC. Like, you can get that good. Your skill cap, it's going to take a lot more effort, a lot more time, a lot more skill, but like, people can do it. So to give people the options, again, I'm not going to be mad at a company that gives players the options of playing this, like, especially if they do have a system in the background that's checking like ELO and stuff like that. Then you're going to be put with people on a mouse and keyboard who are at your skill level with the controller. Like,
that's true. That's true. I do think that's a more fair way to do it, so long as you have like that ELO system in place to make it more fair.
Yeah. So like in that aspect, like, so again, I don't, it doesn't bother me that like I might have an advantage as a mouse and keyboard over people controllers. Like, if they're playing with me, odds are they're just as good with that as I am with this, because most games nowadays have an ELO.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's even so, like the console games have some kind of aim assist to go along with it too that balances out the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
Kind of. You know.
That's true.
And then some people get good enough with a controller that they turn that off because it makes them worse. Like, if people do get that good. So, where on a controller, I need that aim assist. I just center it on my body, I'm good.
Yeah.
Put it somewhere where I hit them. I'm not worried about getting that perfect headshot right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me just hold down the fire button and little tweaks of my joystick, and you just handle the rest.
There you go.
That's me on a console shooter. That's almost me on a PC shooter, to be honest, but it's definitely me.
I'm right there with you.
But back to the whole randomizer thing, while it'd be cool, I don't know about having Nintendo implement it. Because there's, if you look at like the Link to the Past, there's so many options that you can change and that you can set yourself on how you want it to play. Whereas if Nintendo does it, it's going to be, their set rules, how they want it done.
Agreed. But it would be a good gateway. People who have never heard of it, never tried it, might like it and look into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would make it more, I guess, mainstream.
Yeah. It's just like even like the Mario hacks that exist. Like, people play like Dram World and like, oh, this is great, but you could also find this random one that's just bad. But if it gets you into that world, it then opens the doors to you. So I think
it's the gateway drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like if Nintendo added it, even if it's relatively limited, it'll still give people to explore and help the community who puts a lot of time and effort into this grow.
Unless they don't do it well.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people, if they go to like SMW Central and they get a really bad Mario hack, they're not going to go back and be like, okay, well, this one sucked. There's got to be a better one out there. They're just going to stop playing it.
True.
That's true. That's true.
It can dissuade as well. I agree. I think the potential for growth is worth it, because the people who are going to play it, if they don't like it, they probably were never going to find a good one to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, I get what you're saying, but the people in Super Mario World, they sought it out, so they had heard it, they tried it, didn't like it. This is people who probably have never heard of it, and at least get them into it. I think the potential for growth is greater than the potential for like just taking away people.
Plus, we're talking about two different things though as well, because Dream World is a ROM hack. It's not a randomizer.
Yeah, I just use that example, but I mean, Agri's getting into the Mario randomizers. Lily's been doing them for a while. I know you've done a bunch of Zelda randomizers, which is why I think if Nintendo put their own version of this, I think it'll be more help to the community than not.
Okay, so tangent on the Zelda thing, like Link's Awakening and doing the randomizers has like had me look up a lot more of the Zelda lore.
Okay.
And
The 3
like,
timelines.
It's
yeah,
almost confusing as Kingdom Hearts, yeah.
the timelines blow my freaking mind.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if y'all have like looked up and followed the 3 different timelines that go on. And specifically, I say that because the initial split happens in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, because I remember before they released it, there's a lot of fan conjectures out there, and the wildest conjectures only ever had 2 timelines: Adult Link and Young Link, because Majora's Mask follows Young Link, but there's also Adult Link that wins, so people always split it off into 2. And then Nintendo came and was like, no, there's 3. There's one where Link loses, and people were like, a third one, and that's where Link to the Past comes. That's when Link lost. Spawns Link to the Past. Majora's Mask is Young Link, and I forget which one goes to Adult Link. I think it's Wind Waker. Not Wind Waker. It's
I forget.
Princess? I think that's Adult Link.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, either like Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess.
No, Skyward Sword is like one of the early ones. Minish Cap, I think, is the first, and then Skyward Sword. Or no, wait, maybe Skyward Sword's the future? I don't remember. It's been a while, but
I forget which one. I thought it was one of the like more side games, like something like the
like the
Ages or Seasons or
oh
yeah,
like,
no, I think you're right. I think it's like
Triforce Heroes or stuff like that.
No, I think you're dead right. I think it's one of like the random handhelds that follows like the Adult Link path or something like that. But yeah. But like when they announced it, they're like, oh yeah, there's also the future where Link lost, and people are like, oh shit, no one ever contemplated that. No one once thought Link lost. There's you have Young Link, Adult Link. Those are your 2 times. I'm like,
right. But the one where Link lost is like considered the like real world one of it.
Because that goes to Link to the Past, which is like one of the favorites in the Zelda community.
Yeah, yeah. But I thought it was interesting that their like more real world one is the case where he loses.
Yeah.
Instead of the more fantasy ones where it's child and adult, but that is more like fantastical than the reality where he's a child and he just straight up loses.
Yeah.
He gets wrecked by the adult with magic powers. Done.
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%, which is why when they first announced it, like everyone was blown away. No one thought that was a thing. And they're like, no, like he's a child. This is a dude with the Triforce of Power who's mastered it and knew magic going in. He won. Like,
yeah,
that's fair.
You just beat the shit out
that
of
makes
the
sense.
kid.
Okay.
It's like when you put it that way.
Makes sense. Logic checks out. That's probably the real world, unfortunately.
So,
but it made me so much more interested in like how they piece together. And if you look at a lot of it, it like makes sense.
Yeah.
Almost to the storyline. Like if you follow the real world storyline, it's like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. He gets defeated, Ganon takes over, and now this new Link has to like fix the shit that's all broken now.
Yeah, which is why the legendary sword is like out in the woods, like forgotten, and like
because in Ocarina of Time it would still be like chilling in the Temple of Time, and years later the Temple of Time is long destroyed and decrepit.
Yeah, because Ganon won, he destroyed it. Yeah.
And if you look at the Link to the Past, like if you look at where the Master Sword is,
that's what I was saying. It's in the woods.
Yeah, it's in the woods off the middle of nowhere.
Blocks there. Like there's stone pieces there.
I don't think I've ever noticed, but
it's just like it's one. It's like one, and it looks like a normal rock. But if you look at it, like one of the things people have like theorized is like that's just one of the leftover stones from the temple getting wrecked.
Well, in Wind Waker, isn't it underwater or something?
Yeah, the world like floods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the whole Temple of Time or whatever is like under the ocean.
So I thought that was interesting, and how it actually, like, that's one of those things in Nintendo. Like, they thought about that when they were making these games.
Yeah.
Like, Like
Mhm.
this was already pre-thought when they made Ocarina of Time. Like they already knew these would be kind of the routes we picked
Yeah.
in this. Which I think is so cool. Like that's some crazy good foresight there.
No, I agree. Because I always wonder that too. Like, how much had they actually planned, and how much were they like,
I was
we
gonna
gotta
say,
kind
yeah,
of
is
work
it
out this.
foresight, or is it they just wanted to link them all together?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
question
I
that
think
too.
I think maybe they linked them together, but it's so seamless. I
Yeah.
think there would be a lot more holes if it was just like, oh, we can link
Uh,
them together, kind
I
of.
agree. I think they've always had kind of a vague idea, and then once the internet was exploding, people coming out, they had to kind of actually write it down.
Mhm.
Which is why some games do feel a bit weird. But like they're like, oh yeah, 10,000 years are between these two events. Like, well, that's kind of cheating, but okay. Like
A
they do things like
little
that.
bit of a cop out,
Yes,
but you
but
still have elements that tie it together.
exactly. They have
Mhm.
enough there that they definitely have been thinking about it since forever. But there's
Because
definitely
like
parts where
back
you're
in
like,
1985 or 86 or 87, whenever it was, I don't think they planned out this whole timeline.
exactly. The first
Yeah,
For
I
couple
don't
having-
think
games, they
so.
just kind of were doing it, and then they kind of started to piece them together. In later games, they'd add elements that would hint at other things, probably just kind of for fun, and then
Mhm.
they, from there, fleshed out a full story.
Nope, it's actually in a vault in headquarters right
Like-
now.
Yeah.
Like the
Somebody
Disney
wrote
vault of
out.
Nintendo.
Yeah, somebody wrote out the full story with the 3 different timelines, like in the 80s, and now they're just like, I guess we got to make games that follow it.
I don't
Yeah.
know why, but I immediately pictured this vault having a Master Sword to open it, and the president of Nintendo gets imprinted whenever they're elected, so only they can open it by grabbing the sword and like lifting it up, and then the vault opens.
Oh,
That
that'd
would
be awesome.
great. I want that vault. That would be
Yeah.
cool.
Stick the sword in, and the key is actually a huge Hyrulean shield he's got to place on the door.
Yeah,
All right.
that would be great.
All right, so we've been running a little bit long. So, any closing messages? Anything anyone wants to say? What's going on? We'll start with Lily. Work our way around. Tell me what's going on with your life, your stream. What's coming up?
Man, just Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizers on Zelda Ocarina of Time randomizers. I've been so addicted to it.
All right.
So that's what I've been doing.
And where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/LilyiPie.
There we go. All right, Toddy. What about you? What do you got going on?
I've been playing Crackdown 3. I might do some Kingdom Hearts 3 in a little bit once I get done with that. So I don't know about after that, see what games are coming out, what's new. I might try to get back into A Link to the Past a little bit.
Yeah,
I know there was talks about a couple of us trying out the Parallel Worlds hack, which is supposed to be like the Kaizo of Zelda. It's supposed to be super, super hard.
Ooh.
And I know Undead and Stealing have tried it before, but
Okay.
we're going to go back and revisit that and see how that goes.
Very good. Very good. And where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/ToddySun13.
There you go. Agri, tell us what you got going on.
I've been doing randomizers too as well. I got super addictive when like Lily and her community like badgered me enough to actually try it. Now I'm totally
Yeah, 'cause
totally addicted
You're fresh.
to it.
You started like a week ago, like a week and a half, right? Like you're very new to this.
Yeah, I had done one with Lily a while back, just on her own for lulz, but I didn't really take it seriously. And when I actually gave it some time and thought, and like started looking up glitches and routes and things like that, I saw the complexity of it, and I got super into it. So that's what I'm super into right now.
Nice. And where can people find you?
Twitch.tv/Agreadda. I think you've got it right
Yeah,
here. This
I
is
have
how you
everyone's names
spell
below,
it.
But there you go.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm your host this week, Grey Wolves Gaming. I'm going to start working on beating a lot of the games that I've left off on that I haven't beaten. Like I got to go back to God of War and stuff like that. Otherwise, I've been doing a lot of community Smash streams. I did finally reach Elite status like a week and a half ago.
Ooh.
So I am the top 3% of online ranked players with my Mii character
Ooh.
who looks like me. It's fantastic.
Nice.
I can be found at
Fancy.
twitch.tv Grey Wolves Gaming. There is an underscore between the Grey Wolves and Wolves Gaming, but this font doesn't have underscore, so I can't put it there. But it does
Oh, no.
exist. All right. Thanks for joining me today, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Everyone in chat, thanks for joining us. Have a good one. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Bye, y'all.